What's up guys, and welcome back to my acreage. I've been hard at work transforming my 3.5 acres by bringing in thousands of yards of dirt, planting thousands of trees, and now bringing thousands of dollars of mulch in to solve my weed problem, and you guys get to see every satisfying minute of it. Alright, well, when we left off in the last episode, I had just taken you guys on an in-depth walkthrough around the entire yard to check on how all my trees were doing, and overall they were all looking pretty good, with the exception of this one here that was snapped in some high winds. The rest of the eco buffer, however, is still standing, and the growth in just 14 months has been astonishing. Some of the poplars are huge already, and it's already starting to give me some privacy. The problem for all my trees though is a seemingly never-ending one, and that's all the weeds that are growing. At this point, I'm having a really difficult time keeping up with them all because I'd really like to maintain nicely manicured tree lines, so that's meant quite a lot of work for my Honda trimmer lately. Okay, as I continue battling the weeds on this side of the yard here, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there wondering why I'm not using something bigger to do this job, and quite frankly, it's because I'm really hoping this is just a temporary problem. My goal is to get all the tree lines mulched by the end of next year, if not sooner, and if I'm able to do that, I should only have to worry about weed control for one more growing season. I know I could get a brush cutter attachment from a Bobcat, or even a zero turn, or heck, even a lawnmower, but to be honest, I just don't want to spend the money for something that I only need in the short term. Plus, getting my Bobcat or a zero turn in here means driving over my water lines and a whole lot of turning and disturbing the dirt, so I'm hoping I don't regret this decision down the road, but for now my Honda trimmer is my chosen weed control method. Up here by the septic field, and things are much worse, as specifically the foxtail is taking over, so before it goes to seed and makes things way worse, I need to get it under control, and in the process find all of the trees I have planted over here as they're being overtaken by weeds. Now, just like my Honda trimmer needs to be refueled when it puts in a pile of work, so do I, and it turns out that's easier than you think.
Have you ever watched one of my videos and wondered, how on earth do you have the energy to take on all the massive projects that you do, along with all the disaster details you do week in and week out? Or wondered how I put up with Lord Mike and all of his crazy shenanigans? Well, it's because of this. Really, Mike? No, it's not candy that keeps me going, it's AG1. I've been using AG1 for nearly 4 years now because it's convenient nutrition made simple. As a busy guy, it's the perfect way to make sure I get my nutrients every day and feel my best, no matter what each day brings. It's super convenient. Just mix 1 scoop with about 8 to 12 ounces of water and boom, a delicious and super healthy drink that can help with all sorts of things like immunity, digestion, energy and endurance, and even brain health. But the best part is that it actually tastes good too. Heck, I've even tried to get Mike to start using AG1 too because there's no question that he could benefit from more energy and endurance, but then I realized who I was talking to, and yeah, he's a lost cause. But if any of you guys out there want to simplify your health routine a bit, then I'd highly recommend giving AG1 a look, and now is a great time to do it. Just go to drinkag1.com/theyardgeek or scan the QR code to subscribe and save $20 off your first subscription of AG1. You just can't put a price tag on your own health. Okay, thanks to AG1 for sponsoring this video, and let's get back to work out in the yard.
Alright, well with a full tank of gas, I'm ready to attack the weeds again, and as you'll notice, I'm wearing jeans to do this today. There's been a couple other times when I got caught out here with just shorts, but since I live here now, that's no longer a problem. One other thing I'm wearing though is my Ergodyne anti-vibration gloves, which work really well when I'm using the trimmer for a couple of hours. Like I've mentioned before, I have carpal tunnel in both hands, and without these gloves, my hands would probably be numb right now, so for any of you out there who struggle with that, I've got a link to the gloves down in the description for you, and I definitely recommend checking them out. Okay, here's a quick look at the haircut I gave the tree line here, which looks really good. I can finally see all my little trees again, and I think it's late enough in the growing season now that these weeds really shouldn't grow much more. Alright, moving back over to where I weed whacked earlier, and with those weeds taken care of, I can get to work on extending the mulch now, but first, I need to pull back the fence so I can drive the bobcat in here. That's going to involve cutting all the cable ties holding it to each post, and then rolling it up and out of the way. Now what I'm trying to do here is first off estimate how much mulch I need for the middle section and the back section, since I can't and don't want to drive all the way in, but I'm also trying to throw it as far to the back of the fence as I possibly can, since I'm going to have to rake all of this out by hand later, and any little bit of help I can give myself will cut down on the work.
You're okay.
Okay, as I get back to work, this shot should hopefully show you how important it is for the material pile to be close to where it needs to be dumped and spread. This is a massive undertaking for one guy, and with travel time in the Bobcat being the thing that takes the most amount of time with a project like this, it was imperative to get the semi to drop the load in the smartest place possible. Don't get me wrong though, I would have loved to have rented a giant excavator so I could have just taken scoop after scoop and dropped it right over the fence exactly where I wanted it, but that would have been a little cost prohibitive, and yeah, Bobby would have been jealous too. Now as I continue to spread the mulch around here, I wanted to get your opinion on something. As filming stuff like this and making these videos is still a newer thing for me, I wanted your opinion on what you've been enjoying the most. For instance, with this shot being a real-time POV from inside the Bobcat, is it a shot you like, or is it too slow-paced for you and you'd rather see a tripod shot that's sped up? One of the struggles of making these videos is actually deciding where to put the camera in the first place for the best angle and perspective on things. So if you guys have thoughts and opinions, I'd love to hear them. Or if you're happy to just watch whatever it is I decide to do, then that's totally cool too. Okay, now that I've gotten mulch dropped over about 50 feet worth of tree line here, that's about as far as I'm going to go for the moment, so I'll grab my rake and get to work on the very exhausting job of spreading it all out. Again, trying to end up with about a foot of mulch everywhere, which should suppress all the perennial weeds, giving me and my Honda trimmer a well-deserved break. But really what I'm trying to do here is pull the piles of mulch to the fence line, spread it out in the middle, and then I'll plan to put the fence back up and dump a few buckets over the fence to fill in that area when I'm done. Here's a quick before and after on this section, and man does it ever look good once the mulch is down and spread out. I'll then get to work on putting the fence back on, and then I'll hop back in the Bobcat to start working on getting mulch to the next roughly 100 to 150 feet of tree line. Now, seeing this in real time like this should show you guys what I was talking about a minute ago. Most of what I'm doing in Bobby right now is just driving between where the pile of mulch is and where it needs to go. And I have to do that somewhat carefully so I don't end up spilling mulch everywhere. Unfortunately, given all the trees I have planted, there's only two ways to access things here with Bobby, and coming in from far away for this side is what makes the most sense, though it does take a ton of time. It's right about now that I'm wondering what the heck I got myself into. It's going to take multiple 8 to 10 hour days to get all the mulch in here, let alone actually spreading it out. Thankfully for you though, I can just push the fast forward button. Okay, as I work on spreading the mulch out now, you'll notice that I'm leaving some space around the trees as I don't want to suffocate them, and one important thing I've learned is that when you're spending so much time and effort spreading material out, having a lightweight rake is key. Alright, well with the outside portion nicely spread, it's time to keep working and finish off the middle and interior sections now. But for anyone who's maybe newer to the channel and doesn't understand why I'm doing what I'm doing right now, well, besides weed control, all this mulch is also going to help regulate soil temperature and help to conserve moisture. I do have irrigation to each and every tree that I've planted, but the soil out here is very well drained and it can be a bit of a challenge to water things enough, so the mulch comes with a lot of benefits. Okay, well if you think I've done a lot of work in this episode so far, well, turns out that was only about half of it. I did about 200 feet of tree line on the one side of the yard, and I still have the entire back tree line to do as well. But thankfully for you, I hit fast forward again, so this won't take too long. All I can say though is that it was an enormous amount of work, but it's all going to be worth it very soon.
Okay guys, well that is where I'm going to wrap up this video, and I have to say, I am exhausted. Oddly enough though, I'm not too upset that winter's coming soon, but there are still a few projects that I need to get done before the snow flies. So until next time, make sure you smash the thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel, and yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one.